Hey everyone, Tommy J here, and today I'm here to show you some tips and tricks for Civilization V. Before we start, it's worth mentioning that I have both expansions, that's Gods and Kings and Brave New World, and due to some gameplay changes that came with each expansion, if you don't, some of the information may not apply to you. Anyway, let's begin. Okay, so first off, this one may sound basic, but I see it asked a lot on forums and by beginners in particular, so I figured I'd include it. To enable resource tile icons, that's these here, like for example, that's the icon for wheat, this is the icon for salt. You simply click this down here and just toggle that button. There's also some shortcuts for icon, yield, hex grid, things like that. There are hotkeys for these, but I've honestly found that sometimes the hotkeys don't work. And yeah, they're just pretty useful gameplay. So next up are a few tips that even experienced players may be able to benefit from. You may have heard that you should order cities to be on production focus in order to min-max your yields, but why is this? Well, it's because of the order that yields are processed. So pretty much, food is processed first, meaning if a new citizen is born, whatever tile yields are on the tile the citizen defaults to, you actually receive, aside from the food of course, because it's already been done. And this will include everything actually, so if I turn yields on, it can include production, gold, faith, culture, science if you're working in natural wonder, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. So this does involve a bit of micromanagement, but I'll show you what actually happens. So first off, set your city to production focus, and I reckon it's gonna work this tile. So I'll gain 1 production, 2 gold, so my gold will go up to 322 instead of the 320 you'd expect. Culture will go up to 74 instead of 73, and faith will go up to 34 instead of 33. Now, this will also affect the production in my city. So instead of getting the 17.55 I have on this turn, I'll get more. 18.9 is what I'll get. So I'll end up with 62.05 progress through the Oracle. Alrighty, so let's give it a go. Okay, so I actually gained 1 extra gold than I thought, but I did get that 8 culture, that 6 faith, and if I go to production, that 18.9 production. So it's an interesting little thing. However, as I said before, you do need to micromanage it a bit, because generally in the early game, you want your cities to grow, obviously, so I wouldn't want to be working this tile that the citizen defaulted to. It's good to have just for that little bonus in the turn that they spawn, but I'm probably going to want to move it over to here so the city keeps growing. If you want more info on this, I actually have a video dedicated entirely to it to explain it properly and completely, as well as mentioning some other things like science and how a building finishing will actually affect all that kind of stuff, and I'll link that in the description for you. Okay, so something else that's good to know is that when you're selling strategic resources to the AI, sometimes you can take advantage of them a bit, getting more gold for the same amount of resources by selling the resources individually. So, right here we have Boudica of the Celts, and you know what? I have a little bit of excess coal that I'm looking to offload. So, I wonder what she'll give me for that. Will she give me 10 gold per turn? Nope. Let's try 9. Nope. 8. No, she won't even do that. But let's see what happens if I try to sell it individually. That 1 coal, will it go for 3? No, but it will go for 2. So let's say I do this 5 times. That's 2, 3. So after I've done this 5 times, that's 10 gold for that 5 coal, which she refused to give me before. Bam. So yeah, right there. 10 gold per turn for 5 coal. Now, let's see what she'll actually give me. She didn't give me 8, but she will give me 7 gold. So pretty much, by selling them individually, I've gained 3 gold per turn. And while that may not seem like a lot, you can do this early in the game with iron or other strategic resources, and it can really make a huge difference. Now, this will only work if the AI doesn't actually have the resources you're offering. And it will sometimes work even if the resources aren't relevant anymore. So, even though we're in the information era, as you may have noticed, I can still sell horses for that exact same amount. So, Let's try the 5 for 8. That doesn't work, but let's try selling 1 horse for 2. As you can see, that does, and she will probably take the 5 for 7. Yes, she will. So yeah, you can gain that little bit of gold off the AI for doing that nice little trick. Another way you can quickly get some gold, even though this one is a bit more difficult, is that you can trade a lump sum of gold for anything really, and then instantly declare war to get whatever you traded back. However, lump sums do require a declaration of friendship, and the world is gonna be pretty angry with you and quite distrustful if you start declaring war on your allies. Alrighty, so my next few tips are to do specifically with settlers. Now, while you're producing a settler in a city, the city cannot grow or starve. So let's look at this for example. I'm losing 19 food per turn because I have no citizens working, except for that one. You're not allowed to work. Now, let's change the production to a settler, so negative 24 food. Settler. Bam. Stagnation. So while producing a settler, the city cannot grow or starve. This means that if your city's about to starve, be it due to plundered tiles or an enemy unit blocking you from working, or just lazy unemployed citizens, if you start producing a settler, food yield no longer matters to the city at all, and no citizens will die. And on the topic of building settlers, there is one more tip I have. Okay, now obviously food does have an impact on the production of settlers, but it's a bit weird how it works. It used to be something like a 1-to-1 ratio back in the vanilla game, as in if you have 10 excess food and 10 hammers, when you're producing a settler, you'll have 20 hammers, but this was overpowered and it's since been changed a couple of times. Now, if you're playing the most up-to-date version of Brave New World, this is how it works. If your city has 1 excess food, you'll gain 1 hammer. If it has 2 excess food, you'll gain 2 hammers. 4 excess food gives you 3 hammers, and from then on, every 4 excess food on top of that will give you an extra hammer. So, let's just have a quick look. As you can see, I'm at plus 0 food, all 38 is being eaten by my unemployed citizens, and each unemployed citizen does give 1 production. So if I put one of these onto a tile like this that gives 1 production, my production won't actually change unless the food's affecting it. So let's give that a go. That's the first excess food, gives me 1 production. The next excess food gives me another. Then 2 more gives me another. And then 4 more gives me another. And every 4 after that will continue to give me 1. So what this means is, let's say you have 8 excess food. You gain 4 hammers, as I have right there. Or if you have 20 excess food, you'll have 7 hammers. So in certain cases, it can actually be advantageous to keep your settler on some tiles with large food yield if you're looking to produce a settler as fast as possible. Now, I just want to finish by emphasizing that this is excess food, not just the food produced that can become production. Anyway guys, this has been Tommy J with tips and tricks for Civilization 5. Thanks for watching and have a good one.